I'm Shital Trivedi, Assistant Professor at LG Institute of Pharmacy, Ahmedabad. In this video, I will share the information on different manufacturing methods of the tablets. So regarding the manufacturing of tablets, the goal of manufacturer is always to have easy, smooth, very cost-effective, large-scale production of the quality tablets on the automated compression machines. So there are three manufacturing methods of the tablets: direct compression, weight granulation, and dry granulation, that is also known as compression granules. So which method that is to be selected depends on the type of drug, whether it is moisture sensitive or heat sensitive, and most importantly it depends on the properties of the formulation blend. And two important properties which are important for the compression, that is fluidity and compressibility. Fluidity, that is the smooth and uniform flow of the powder blend that is required for the easy transportation of the material from hopper to the feed frame into the dies, so that the resultant tablet would be uniform in weight without the outside limit weight variation. So if the glidants and lubricants present in the formulation blend is not sufficient to achieve the desired flow property, then the next step, that is to modify the particle size, shape and size distribution, because these properties of the particle highly affect the flow property of the final blend. So to modify the size and shape, that is the role of the granulation process, in which the particles are converted into the sphere-like agglomerates, that is called granules. Sometimes the vibrators attached to the hoppers or force feed frame can also be used to eliminate some of the problems regarding the flow during the compression. The another important property, that is compressibility. That is a property of the powder to form the stable compact mass under the applied pressure. So not all the drugs are directly compressible, or not all the excipients are directly compressible. So if you compare the three tablet manufacturing methods in terms of the number of steps and the number of unit operations which are involved, we can say the direct compression is very easy and less time consuming method. Very few steps and very few unit operations are involved compared to the other methods. Dry granulation, it involves the multiple compression, usually double compression. And still the number of steps are more compared to the direct compression, but less than the weight granulation. And the weight granulation, that is the longest process, and the number of unit operations are involved also high. So let's talk about the methods in detail. Direct compression method, if we look at the process, it's very simple. The initial weighing of the raw materials, and if the grinding required of the raw material, the next step, that is the blending of all the ingredients together. Lubricant glidant can be added in the same equipment, so that minimize the transfer of material from one equipment to another equipment, and that reduce the material loss and also less time consuming, and the blend is ready for the compression. Though this process is very easy, but not all drugs can be compressed by this method, because it depends on the compressibility properties of the powder. So only the crystalline material or the granular material with better cohesiveness can be directly compressed. So when the large doses of the drugs are involved in the tablet, this process is a little bit difficult if the drug required the addition of the other excipients. So with the moderate dose of the drugs and the availability of the advanced raw materials like directly compressible excipients, this method is the most preferred by the manufacturer nowadays. So if we talk about the advantages, this method is the dry process. No need to add moisture or no need to apply the heat. This one is very useful for the drugs which are moisture sensitive and heat sensitive. And we know this process involves very few steps. The equipments are less, and that's why the personnel required also less. So because of the lower labor input, this process is economical not only in terms of the cost but also in terms of the time. And the tablets produced by this method also having good resolution profile compared to the other two methods, but this method is also having drawback. As I said, it is not suitable for the large dose drugs which require the further addition of the excipients, and that will make the tablet in large size, and that would be difficult to swallow by the patient, and also that results into the costlier product. And if there is a difference in particle size and density amongst the formulation ingredients, then there are chances of the stratification, that is segregation, and that may result into the poor content uniformity of the drug. And as this is the dry process, there are chances of the static charge buildup over the drug, and they may result in, and that may result into the segregation or the ununiform distribution of the drug in formulation, and that may result into the poor content uniformity. Let's talk about the another method, that is dry granulation method. That is the granulation process without adding the liquid, and here we can see the initial preliminary steps are common, and this process involves the multiple compression, usually double compression. So after dry mixing of the ingredients, okay, in this case the part of the lubricant can be added at this stage, because that will facilitate the action of the slugs, which are the large size tablets that can be produced by using the compression machine, or the ease of the compaction, that is with the help of roller compactors. And then okay, so here I have shown the roller compactor type of machine. This can be done on the compression machine in form of the large tablets, that is called slugs, and that's why it is also called slugging process. And then the slugs or the compacts are crushed into the milling equipments, and then this can be screened for the desired size and size distribution, and the final blending with the lubricant, glidant and part of the disintegrant, and then the blend is ready for the final compression. So this method has been used for many years, and it is valuable technique when the drug involved in the tablet is having moisture sensitivity or heat sensitivity or sensitivity toward the both, and when the large doses of the drugs are involved, then manufacturer prefer this method of the manufacturing. So slugging is like increasing compression time. So multiple compression improves the compressibility of the powder in form of the granules. So if you look at the advantages, this method involves the less equipments and less steps compared to the weight granulation. We can say it is economical in terms of cost and time compared to the weight granulation. And this method is applicable to the drugs which are moisture sensitive and heat sensitive, because it doesn't involve the addition of the moisture or the application of the heat. But this method is having limitation, as it is dry process, the slugging and milling and screening, these all steps can result into the considerable dust generation, and which can result into the cross contamination, or can be harmful to the workers working around the equipments for this method. And the tablets produced by this method is also tend to be softer compared to the tablets produced by the weight granulation method, and this tablet may not be suitable for the further processing of coating. So whenever dry granulation method is used compared to the slugging method, that is on the compression machine, The roller compactors type of pre-compactation equipments are beneficial because these are having good production capacity. So on large scale production this can be used, and here I have shown the chilzonator type of design. Here we can see the vertical screw that helps for the powder to get transferred from the hopper to this region, which is having vertical screw, and the speed of this is important, that transfer the material constantly in between these two rollers which rotate towards each other, and the one roller is applied with the pressure that can be controlled. And this machine is also having the inbuilt size reduction facilities, so pre-breaking and then further reduction into the granules of the compacts, and then the granules of the different size can be or the desirable size can be obtained through the selected screen. And here the multiple screens if used, then the overs and fines can be separated. Overs can be milled and the fines can be recompacted. So sometimes re-slugging recompaction can also be preferred in case of dry granulation. So not only in terms of the production capacity, this roller compactors are also easy in terms of controlling the pressure and the dwell time, and no need of the excessive lubricants in case the granules produced by this roller compactor. Let's talk about the weight granulation technique. Here in this diagram we can see that the initial weighing and grinding if required, then the blending of the dry material, and then the very unique step involved in weight granulation is this weight mixing, that is called weight massing, and weight screening, that is the granulation step. So traditionally these two steps were performed separately, but nowadays the advanced equipments are available so that both the steps can be done together in one equipment in one step. So the granulating fluid can be added into the dry mix, and then this can be screened for the weight granules. So usually 10 to 12 number screen can be preferred, and then these weight granules are dried in a suitable dryer like clay dryer or FBD, and then further dry screening is required to get the desired size and size distribution, and further blending with the part of the distinct lubricant and glidant and ready for the compression. So the flow property of the granules also depends on the size distribution, as I said earlier. So usually 80 to 20% of coarse to fine ratio is preferable. That gives the appropriate density to the powder blend and suitable compressibility index and better flow property. Now here in this case this liquid that is added, that is playing very important role. Also the amount of liquid that is to be added is also very critical, and that depends on the solubility of the binder in this liquids and the formulation component. For example, if the amount of liquid that is permissible is very low, then the binders can be added in dry form, and that is mixed with the other ingredients, and then the plain granulating fluid that can be either water or 70% alcohol or any suitable organic solvent that can be added. And if the amount of liquid that is permissible in large quantity, then the binder can be dissolved or dispersed in granulating fluid, and then solution or suspension can be added into this dry mix to get the weight mass of the powder. So the weighting property of the powder, that is very important for the granulation stage. So the weighting property of the powder with the suitable granulating fluid that is to be used is important. Plus granulation, the weight mixing also depends on the efficiency of this equipments used. So generally the high shear mixtures are having good efficiency in terms of the weight mixing. So as I said, the liquid that is used in this process is very important, and that plays very important role. The liquid forms the liquid bridges between the particles, and the resultant surface tension and capillary pressures responsible for the agglomeration of the particles and the strength of the tablet. So that is about the mechanism of granules. Here in this diagram we can see the liquid bridges are formed between the particles, and in later stage of the drying, the evaporation of this liquid results into the recrystallization of the binders or curing of the binders or fusion, and that results into the solid bridges. So here we can see that the liquid bridges, that is the further addition of granulating fluid, the different transition states, and then drying results into this conversion of liquid bridges into the solid bridges, and that holds the particles together in form of the agglomerate, or we can say granule. So this is about the granulation mechanism in wet granulation. Then what happens in dry granulation and direct compression? So that is because of the van der Waals forces or the surface forces on the particles, and these forces become predominant when particles are brought together in close proximity, and that is the role of the pre-compression in dry granulation, or the compression in the direct compression between the cohesive particles. So in pre-compression and compression, the particles are brought together, and because of this van der Waals forces, the particles are held together in form of agglomerates or granules. This wet granulation method is very popular and commonly used, even though it involves the many processing steps and many equipment. So why? Because this technique compared to the other two methods produce the granules with very good flow property and good compressibility of the powder by preparing the granules by this method, and it also requires less pressure during the final compression stage, and that is good for the machine durability, and the tablets which are produced by this method also having good strength, and that can be suitable for the further coating step. As it is wet process, the dust that is generated is also less, which minimize the cross contamination and minimize the risk factor to the workers. But this method is having limitation, as we know, because of the number of steps, number of equipments, rather costly equipments. This process is costly in term and very time consuming also compared to the other two methods, and it is not suitable for the moisture sensitive or heat sensitive drugs. If the drug is moisture sensitive, then still there is a possibility that this method can be used by using the granulating fluid other than the moisture in which the drug is stable. But if the drug is moisture sensitive, solvent sensitive, then this method cannot be used. Even the drug is sensitive, this method cannot be used. And in case of power failure, and that is without any backup battery system, and if the process at the granulation stage, the wet granules are likely to go under the degradation. That is the drawback of this technique. And whenever solvents which are volatile and inflammable solvents, then the safety precautions are very important using this method. The area must be very well ventilated to reduce the direct effect over the workers, and to reduce the concentration of volatile and inflammable solvents below the explosion limit. And even the manufacturer has to comply the Environmental Protection Agency norms for the amount of solvent that can be exhausted into the air. So sometimes the manufacturer required to recover the solvent or burning of the solvent, and that add the additional cost in the production of the tablet by this method. So as this method involves the very critical unit operations, so number of variables are also more. So the scale up that is difficult and complicated in this weight granulation method compared to the other two methods. So to minimize the time by minimizing the steps which are required for the weight granulation, and to minimize the material transfer from one equipment to another equipment, the innovation is there in weight granulation technologies, even in the dry granulation technology. So like steam granulation technology, that involves the use of steam instead of liquid water for the weighting purpose. Moisture activated dry granulation technique, that involves the addition of the small amount of the moisture, and there is no need of drying by applying the heat, but drying can be done by adding the absorbent, so that eliminates the drying step. Milk granulation technology involves the multiple binders, so again that eliminate the application of the heat. Foam binder technology involves the application of binder in form of the foam, so that results into the better distribution of the binder. Granulation technology involves the freezing technique, so that is useful for the heat sensitive drug. Thermal adhesion granulation process, that involves the heat application for the cohesion of the particles with a very small amount of the liquid. Reverse phase weight granulation, that is the modification in process, like instead of the traditional one in which the granulating fluid is added into the dry process, in this method the dry powder mix is added into the granulating liquid, so that is the difference. Pneumatic dry granulation, that is the modification in the conventional dry granulation technology, that is with the help of roller compactor. Here the attachment of the air classifier is there, so that is the modification for the ease of the production. And as I said, the availability of the high shear mixtures like rapid mixture granulator, that eliminates the performing the weight massing and weight milling and dry mixing steps in different equipments, so this all steps can be done together in one equipment, so that minimize the time for the transfer of one equipment to another, and also the variables which are required to be controlled will be less. And the another modern equipment, that is fluidized weight granulated. Now this is a very good equipment, multi-purpose equipment, and in this the dry mixing, weight mixing, granulation and drying, all these steps can be performed together in the same equipment. So conclusion, the method of manufacturing that is to be selected for tablet depends on the property of the drug itself, then property of the formulation blend, the facilities that is available with the manufacturer. That is all about the different manufacturing methods of the tablets. I hope you find this video useful. You can see this video and other videos related to the pharma topics on our YouTube channel Pharma Ignite. So do visit. We will see more information on the tablets in my next video. Thank you very much.